First up, we have the country of Iran with a GDP of $18,505. The economy of Iran is a mixed and transition economy with a large public sector. When on the world scale, it's the world's 18th largest by purchasing power parity, and roughly 60% of the economy is centrally planned. At number 9, we have Turkey. Turkey's GDP is $27,394. The economy of Turkey is defined as an emerging market economy, and Turkey is among the world's most developed countries according to the CIA World Factbook. Turkey is also defined by economists as well as political scientists as one of the world's newly industrialized countries. Next up, we have the country of Malaysia with a GDP of $32,455. Malaysia is a Southeast Asian country that occupies part of the Malay Peninsula and the island of Borneo. It's known for its beaches, rainforests, and mix of Malay as well as Chinese, Indian, and European cultural influences. It's like a melting pot of all of them. Pretty fascinating place. In any case, the capital, Kuala Lumpur, is home to the colonial buildings, busy shopping districts such as the Bukit Bintang, as well as a bunch of different skyscrapers like the very well-known Petronas Twin Towers. Oman follows Asia in this episode, and their GDP is at $46,476. Oman's reserves of petroleum totals about 5.5 billion barrels. Natural gas has increased a lot due to the development of gas fields. Oman's natural gas reserves are estimated at 849.5 billion cubic meters, and this ranks it 28th in the entire world. Oman's mineral resources include copper, gold, as well as zinc and iron. And then several industries have popped up around them as part of the national development process, which has provided many jobs for the people of Oman and has contributed greatly to the nation's GDP as well. And the citizens of Oman, they really have a good life over there in comparison to other countries and their living standards. Bahrain comes in at number 6 with a GDP of $50,868. Bahrain is regarded as one of the fastest growing economies in the entire Arab world. So back in 2008, the country was named the world's fastest growing financial center by the City of London's Global Financial Centers Index. And Bahrain's banking and financial sectors have benefited from the regional boom driven by a demand for oil. And with that said, petroleum is Bahrain's most exported product. Aluminum is considered as the second most exported product, followed by finance and construction materials. Halfway in at number 5, we have Saudi Arabia with a GDP of $56,817. Saudi Arabia has the world's second largest oil reserves, and oil accounts for more than 95% of exports and 70% of government revenues. It also has the world's 6th largest natural gas reserves, and the country is planning to launch 6 economic cities. And these cities are planned to be completed by the year 2020. The 6 new industrialized cities are intended to diversify the economy of Saudi Arabia. So who comes in at number 4? We got the country of Kuwait. Their GDP is $67,969. Kuwait is a country that has a population of about 3.5 million, and Kuwait is one of those countries that are known by a lot of people, but also at the same time not known by a lot of people. But Kuwait has crude oil reserves of 104 million barrels, and that's estimated to be 10% of the world's reserve. Kuwait's oil production is expected to increase to 4 million barrel units by the year 2020. There are other major industries including shipping as well as construction and financial services. And this country has also a well-developed banking system, and the National Bank of Kuwait is the largest bank in the country and one of the largest in the entire Arab world. So of course you knew that the United Arab Emirates had to be in this episode, but they come in at number 3. The UAE's GDP is $70,474. So when we look at the UAE, we see that it really relies a lot on its oil and gas for about 25% of the GDP of the country. In United Arab Emirates, petroleum and natural gas exports plays an important role in the economy, especially in Abu Dhabi. There is a massive construction boom as well as an expanding manufacturing base that's really helping the country diversify diversify its economy. So we have not much to say about number 2, but this country is a country of Brunei. Brunei's GDP is 83,777, and this is a country with a small yet wealthy economy that's a mixture of foreign as well as homegrown entrepreneurship. Also included in there are government regulation as well as welfare measures and traditions. All contribute to having Brunei be a wealthy and thriving nation. But they are not rich enough to take the number 1 spot, and that goes to the country of Qatar. This Gulf state, with a population of nearly 2 million, tops this list of the world's richest Muslim countries. This country is recognized as one of the fastest growing economies in the entire world, and the main cause for the country's amazing rapid growth, it's really contributed to ongoing increases in production and exports of natural gas, as well as oil and petrochemicals. Qatar will also host the 2020 FIFA World Cup, and it's also running for the 2020 Olympic Games. This country has been a high-profile investor in recent history, and the government is also pouring a lot of money into its own infrastructure, including a deep water seaport, as well as an airport and railway track, to make the country a better host for the 2022 World Cup Games. Starting at number 10, we have Iran with a GDP of $19,098 US. The economy of Iran is a mixed and transition economy with a large public sector. It's the world's 18th largest by purchasing power parity, and about 60% of the economy is centrally planned. Turkey comes in at number 9 with a GDP of $25,286.60 US. The economy of Turkey is defined as an emerging market economy by the IMF. And now Turkey is among the world's developed countries, and that's according to the CIA fact book. Turkey is also defined by economists and political scientists as one of the world's newly industrialized countries. But ahead of them is Malaysia, coming at number 8 with a GDP of $28,176.40. Malaysia is a Southeast Asian country occupying parts of the Malay Peninsula as well as the island of Borneo. It's known for its beaches, its rainforests, and a mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian as well as European cultural influences. The capital, Kuala Lumpur, is home to colonial buildings, busy shopping districts, and you'll find quite a bit of skyscrapers there as well. And moving on to the nation of Oman, they come in with a GDP of $36,830.90 US. Oman's proved reserves of petroleum totals to about 5.5 billion barrels. And natural gas has increased a lot due to the development of gas fields. Oman's natural gas reserves are estimated at 849.5 billion cubic meters, ranking 28th in the entire world. And Oman's mineral resources include gold, copper, zinc, and iron. Now, several industries have grown up around them as part of the national development process, which have provided jobs for many people in Oman and have contributed to the nation's GDP as well. The citizens in the country enjoy a pretty good standard of living. Next up, we have Bahrain, and their GDP sits at $41,973.30 US. Bahrain is regarded as one of the fastest growing economies in the Arab world, and back in the year 2008 actually, the country was named the world's fastest growing financial center by the City of London's Global Financial Centers Index. Bahrain's banking and financial sectors has benefited from a regional boom driven by a demand for oil. Now, petroleum is Bahrain's most exported product. Aluminum is considered as the second most exported product, followed by finance and construction materials. Number 5, we have Saudi Arabia with a GDP of $48,995.60 US. Saudi Arabia has the world's second largest oil reserves, and oil accounts for more than 95% of the exports as well as 70% of the government's revenue. It also has the world's 6th largest natural gas reserves, and the country is planning to launch 6 economic cities, which are planned to be completed by the year 2020. So this year, we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in Saudi Arabia, and 6 new industrialized cities are intended to diversify the economy of Saudi Arabia. The nation at number 4 is United Arab Emirates, or UAE, and they have a GDP of $66,615.90 US. The United Arab Emirates banks on its oil as well as its gas for about 25% of its GDP. In the country, petroleum and natural gas exports plays an important role in the economy, especially in Abu Dhabi, its capital. people. Now, a gigantic construction boom and expanding manufacturing base are helping the country really diversify its economy. Getting to the bottom of this list, Kuwait comes in at number 3. They have a GDP of $67,969 US. Now, it's a country with an estimated population of about 3.5 billion people. Kuwait is one of those countries that are relatively unknown by a lot of people. People just don't know much about it. But Kuwait has proven crude oil reserves of 104 million barrels, estimated to be 10% of the world's reserves. Kuwait's oil production is expected to increase to 4 million barrel units by this year, 2020. And other major industries in Kuwait include shipping, construction, and financial services. Kuwait has a well-developed banking system, and the National Bank of Kuwait is the second largest in the country, and also it's one of the largest in the Arab world. Brunei comes in at number 2 with a GDP of $71,802.50 US. Brunei is a country with a small yet wealthy economy that is a mixture of foreign and domestic entrepreneurship, government regulation, as well as welfare measures and village tradition. Not much to say about them, but they come in pretty solid, and that's why they're at number 2. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough to be number 1, because that goes to the country of Qatar with a GDP of $112,531.50 US. The Gulf state with overpopulation of 1.7 million is at number 1 as the world's richest Muslim country. The country is recognized as one of the fastest growing economies in the entire world. Now, the main catalyst for this rapid growth is said to be the ongoing increasing in production and exports of natural gases, oil, as well as petrochemicals. And Qatar was also hoping to host the 2020 Olympic Games. Unfortunately, that went to Tokyo. Now, it's been a very high-profile investor in recent times. The government is also pouring a lot of money into infrastructure, including a deep water seaport, as well as an airport, a railway track, and also they're investing a lot to make the country a better place, especially for when the World Cup happens there in the year 2022.